anything.
There we go. Now we're living, so you can't say it, right?
Yeah, so just not allowed to say anything. So, all right. So how was the weekend?
I'm about to find out how the weekend was, right? We
Yeah.
got let's see, how long do we got? We got 18 seconds, Greg.
18
15.
seconds. What can I do in 18 seconds?
Two people listening right now. One's from the U.S. It could be Kenny.
Got our
Surprise.
German friend?
And then our German friend is back out there once again. So here we go. Okay, here we go. All right, it's Monday morning.
Welcome back. Welcome back, everyone. I hope you all had a great weekend. But it's Monday morning and the Turf Nerds are back on Turf's Up Radio. Your industry. Your station. It's time for Evan and Greg to help you grow your business in the green industry. Let's talk about mowers, equipment, landscaping, and so much more. It's time for the Turf Nerds. It's time for the Turf Nerds. It's time for the Turf Nerds. Evan and Greg on Turf Up Radio. Your industry, your station. Call us now. 856-446-8873. Your industry, your station.
Well, thank you to that lovely group. I don't even know who sings that, but it sounds
Yeah.
nice, doesn't it?
They do a great job. So
It gets us going. I mean, I'm
Yes,
still
it
not awake
does.
yet. Are you?
I am working on it. I've been up off and on since 4 a.m.
Not bad. Yeah, it's the same deal with when Hannah has to feed the baby at night and we lock the cat out of the room. She turns on her phone at night to be able to see, and that'll wake me up too, Greg. It's like,
Yeah.
what
So
happened to your finger? You know?
I was at a client's house the other day, and I saw something in their shrub, and I went to pull it. It looked like a dead branch or something, and I went to pull it, and it was something with a picker in it, and I've still
yeah.
got it in my finger. I can't get rid of it, so I got this thing. So if I touch something in a certain way, it makes me jump.
So it's still in your finger then?
Yeah, I can't get it out.
You got any like tweezers or anything to be able to?
Oh, I can't. Yeah, I can't even see it.
pop that out there.
Yeah,
No?
I think I've actually got 2 of them in there. Probably just need to soak the finger in warm water for a while and see if it'll loosen itself up. So
Don't you
It
hate when you
hurts.
grab like a piece of wood, a plywood, 2x4, or certain types of wood? I don't think it's ever happened with a stick. Me grabbing sticks and moving stuff. Like when we're out there working, yeah, I think maybe I have gotten some of those like picker or prickers there in my hand. But I've gotten some years ago. I was going on a banister in the stairs, Greg. I think I got a piece of like wood permanently cut deep in my palm. It's been there for like 15 years, I think.
it's still you still feel it from time to time.
No,
Is
I
that what
think
you're
it's
saying?
just buried in there though. So
Well,
I'm
that
not sure. I
would've-
think after a while, you think that would have been like disintegrated or something.
Yeah, you'd probably it would form infection around it usually. So and then you'd be able to take it out.
Well, maybe it's
So,
out then by now,
like
right?
a sliver.
So-
Yeah, it's probably this kind of surprised me though, because like the one spot I just did, I didn't even know that I had something right there. So
Wait, so what were you grabbing again? Tell the
I don't.
listeners.
It was just a little. I thought I was grabbing just like a dead branch off the shrub, and it was some sort of picker bush. I don't even think it. I thought it might have been a bull thistle, but I don't even think it was bull thistle. So I don't know what kind of picker it was. It just still hurts. It's picky.
You kind of brought up a good point. I've mowed around hawthorn trees Like, because are hawthorns, would they be a bush or a tree? I think it's a tree. I've seen some pretty big sized trees that have the really long, just like thorns in them, and I've ran into
Yeah.
them, and I've hit my palm before while mowing. It hurts bad.
Now I've got one client that it might be a hawthorn, and I he gives me, I can do some cleanups in his yard from time to time, and every so often when I'm around that tree when I'm doing my cleanups and have my loppers with me, hey, look at that! This tree probably needs to be trimmed up a little bit. So I'm slowly bringing the branches up. So
That's a good way to do an upsell, though, too, right? If you're mowing around areas, you can just be like, just tell the people, hey, you should probably trim this because I can't get under it, and then they'll hopefully be willing to pay you.
Yeah, I remember if you can get them to pay you for that stuff, but it's also you just say, hey, look, this tree needs to be trimmed up a little bit. You mind if I do that? And they say, oh yeah, go ahead and do it, and just bill me. Most people say that because I've had that happen a couple of times where I just said, look, this needs to be trimmed up a little bit, and they're pretty good to let me do it. So.
Just found this website, Nebraska Forest Service, Greg. Hawthorne, cockspur, which is interesting because it does actually look like a spur on like a boot. Your cat's meowing. It's cute.
Yeah.
Cretaceous Crusgalli deciduous. Deciduous. Man, I can't even talk. The hawthorns are a diverse and confusing group of plants with at least 200 distinct species occurring throughout the northern hemisphere. There are dozens of species native to America, including several that are grown as landscape trees. So, interesting facts.
Yeah.
So it says here, there is a section called Interesting Facts. Krug's is Latin in origin and means leg of a cock, in reference to a thorn of a tree that resembles a rooster spurs. Oh, wow. Okay, cool. So there, we were right. I was right before I even read it. Huh. Interesting. We're talking about trees now.
Yeah. Yeah. And what did you say? How did you say deciduous?
They can go back and we'll probably have to take that for a drop. I called it. What did I say? Before I said deciduous, I said like deciduous or deciduous. Yeah.
Deciduous. Yeah.
What was the word that I said on Friday or Thursday? I'm trying to remember. I'm drawing a blank.
I don't recall.
I had slurred some two words together, but it sounded funny. It was like I don't remember. Well, we got open lines here, 856-446-8873. If you guys keep track of the stupid things I mostly say, Greg's pretty more polished. There you go. But Greg, we're inching closer and closer to the lawn care season, and we'll talk about that. We'll do the transition here at about 7:15. But we have one more topic that we I hate saying the word topic, but one more thing we want to talk about: invoices, cut count, and contracts. But first off, Greg, how was the weekend?
Oh, it was good. Just kind of hung out, did some things around the house, and not a lot. Just kind of relaxed. Just because I had a really busy week last week doing the painting and such, so just kind of relaxed a little bit over the weekend. So, but started looking and deciding, putting together my cleanups. Starting to formulate those. And might actually start doing cleanups next week. I thought we might get to them this week, but I think it's just going to be a little bit more difficult. Got a few accounts, and I don't know what the weather's looking like. You never know anyway.
Yeah, how is the weather working?
Yeah, take a look.
Looking at up here, we always do this.
Changing. That's the issue. Like it was supposed to rain.
Yeah.
Tuesday and I think Thursday. Now it's just Thursdays. Weather's all over the place, so outside chance maybe I could do a small cleanup on Friday. Looks like I could have lost Evan a little bit here, so I'll just keep talking. I don't see you. Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I think my video went. Looks like your camera was unplugged. Plug it back in or select a different camera. Well, we can still keep talking. Keep talking, Greg.
Yours unplugged. There you go.
I'm not sure what I did. You know what I did? I was tabbing over to click on Detroit weather, and I shut the camera off. Today, 40, 24. And you might be able to go today. There might be some, I don't know, might be some rain. Tuesday, 49.
See,
Wednesday,
mine's not showing
58.
any rain, but I've got one account.
It says precip 20% today, huh?
Huh. Well, but remember, that just shows the difference between you and I. So, we're only half an hour apart, 35 minutes or so. We have different weather. So, But
Greg gets
I'll
more snow
probably,
than me.
Yeah, I might have snow. But I know one client that I've got to do a cleanup on a Monday because that's just going to work better in the schedule. It's a client I picked up last year, but there's a butcher that's right next door that's closed on Mondays, so that allows me to be able to do my mowing and all that stuff. I get that done on Monday because there's usually no traffic right there, no people parked right there.
That makes it
Commercial
easy,
lot.
doesn't it? Yeah, it's like scheduling around when to go there, right? And you're pretty cognizant, aren't you?
Yeah, well, I found out Mondays work best. I do all my commercial cuts on Monday, and that's something that I don't know what other guys do, but I look at it as say, okay, my commercials, they all want their lawns to look good for the week, so I just schedule all my commercial cuts on Monday, and then do my do all my residential stuff Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So that I've found tends to work better. I don't know what kind of commercial stuff you have. Do you do that all on Monday too, or is it part of your route?
Yeah, well, when I did do commercial works, I had no commercial accounts now. Nilch, zero, nada. I used to have
Nilch?
back in the day, or zilch, nilch or zilch. Should probably know how to talk before I say anything. I used to have a couple commercial accounts back in the day, Greg. You might have seen them with me, but Zach and I did this big one. They were a janitorial supply place, and it was underbid, but we didn't know. But the guy, I don't think was willing to even pay more. But I did make some money back on him doing the landscaping, like the mulch and the hedge trimming. It was shaped like a big L. It's a big giant like big bracket, or maybe more like an actual like U bracket. And so one side it was elevated and like up and down more and near cars because different companies rented out this business. Or it was a big building, so it was a janitorial supply, a dance studio, something else, and that's where some guys make the money, Greg. I mean, we're mowing now, but in a future life, I think that commercial real estate game or commercial investing game, if you have the I would guess connections and the resources to do it, there's some serious money to be made there. But we mowed that for a while. It was a pain. It was really kind of a pain because they had grass in front of the building. So how it was like set up was a long building, U bracket, and then there was grass on this side and then on the other side. And then on the other side, closer to the building, there was trees and the cars would park. So you have to wind up and down through the trees and keep your chute blocker down. It's just kind of a pain. But I had that, and then I had a smaller one. So I really only had about 2 commercials there. But, but then this different city where I worked in, my dad met this guy when he was helping me out with the business. And this guy had several buildings on Plymouth Road there. So I mowed all of them for him, too. And they were smaller. But it sounds like you're more on the commercial end of the game than I am, Greg.
No, I mean I've got a dozen. Well, I call them my commercial. I've got a guy that owns a bunch of rentals, and I do all those on Monday as well. So I think I cut 7 of his properties. Let me see, 1, 2, 3. That's 10, 11.
I
mean,
think I know
missing
this guy,
one.
right?
Yeah. But
He's
I
been a
think I
good client.
cut, but I'm sorry.
He's been a good client to you, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's been pretty good.
How'd you meet him again?
I was mowing a lawn across the street from one of his rentals, and he asked me to mow the lawn for him because the guy moved out and nobody was mowing the lawn. So I started mowing that lawn, and mowed that for 2 years, I think. And then when a new renter moved in, I was mowing it for a while, and then they just told the landlord that they told the landlord that they could go ahead and mow it. So I don't cut that one anymore, which is okay because that was a push lawn, and you know what we say about push lawns.
You're right about that. Oh man,
Yeah.
Oh, what?
You know, I'll tell you one big disadvantage with the push mower is you got to push it.
That is some profound wisdom. He's actually really looking forward, Greg, to this upcoming season because he's slowly changing. Our buddy Riley Spencer, shout out to him. He's bivocational. He's a pastor, but he's also has a pretty nice lawn care business, Greg. And some of the lawns, the pictures that he sent, I think you've sent them too. That's a crazy amount of Kentucky rolling hills, right?
Yeah.
I don't think I'd really want to mow that. Would you want to mow hills like that?
I don't know. If I'm getting paid for it, I guess I would, but it's just got to be the right thing. So, No, I think I've got about I'll count the rental properties as commercial. So I guess I have about um, a dozen commercial properties.
That's not bad. Well, and that's where you make all the money. I mean, at the end of the day, commercials is the way to go. And we talk about invoices and cut counts and contracts, Greg. So we can kind of flesh this out here first because we've touched on this. If you listen to the podcast long enough, we've touched on this. But first, we want to give a shout out to our German buddy who's listening. Not sure he's listening on in Falkenstein, Germany once again. So call into the show, but I think he might always listen. 856-446-8873. We really want to hear from this guy, Greg. And then we have someone else that's on. It's from a Google Chrome or Amazon Echo. So Chrome browser for the German guy and Amazon Echo. That's crazy that this radio.co, I've already said this, but it gives you these stats. Like you want to have stats with your business. This is quite quite funny. So, okay.
Yeah.
Been doing this. This is the 16th year in business, Greg. You work different jobs though too. You might have a different perspective because you're in the corporate. You had a different business like back in the day, but I've never really had to worry about any contracts in my business. I've written up a couple like for snow recently, but mowing, I think in my 16-year run, I've had to whip up maybe 2 or 3 contracts, and that was it. The rest has been handshake, maybe just because it's residential mowing. But even with the commercial ones, when I did mow them, people weren't all that picky with me. I guess maybe it just depends on the area. But have you ever had to really write up a contract, Greg, for your mowing or years past? I mean, I'm sure you've seen contracts before.
Yeah, I just do it on a handshake as well. I don't have a contract. Could set you up for issues, but the I had that one account a couple weeks ago. Remember, I had that guy that was going to potentially get me 6 lawns.
Oh yeah, he
was was asking for the sun, the moon, and the stars, and I just said, you know what, you're going to be a pain. I'm just not going to do this, and I just decided to call.
He was wrong.
Yeah, and I just decided this is not going to be an account I want to work with, and just because before we even started, he was asking for. And some people might look at that and say it's reasonable, but I was looking at it going, he's going to be too picky. And I know every time I cut his lawn, he's going to be out there watching, and then he's going to call me all the time. And
hey, Greg, you did that wrong. Hey, Greg, what happened? You cut it at 325. I wanted you to cut that at 4. I'm getting my ruler out.
Actually, he wanted me to cut his lawn short, and I said, no, that's not good. And that was the other thing. He's going to tell me how long to cut his grass. And, granted, he's the one paying for it, but I'm also looking at it going, if you want me to cut it too short, and his lawn looked a little sparse. And I'm going, man, you're wanting me to cut it. You're going to tell me how to cut it. And then when it doesn't look right, you're going to complain about it. And that's because you have me cutting it too short. So... And so I just
trying to blame me either way.
I just decided this was just going to be too much. He reminded me of the guy that I don't know if I told this before. The guy that wanted me to, he called me up. I passed out flyers. He called me up and started asking me all these questions. Pretty good questions. I mean, I can't knock the questions, but then he started. How often do you sharpen your blades? When do you when it's hot out? Do you not? When do you decide not to cut, and when do you cut?
Specific questions, right?
Yeah, very specific questions. But that was the one that caught me, and I thought, wait a minute, this guy's asking. He's very particular about his lawn, and then he asked me if I was going to be cutting it when it was dry, which made me think, okay, all these questions you're asking me, you're being very particular. Do you have a sprinkler system? Do you have irrigation? And he said, no. And I said, oh, man, you're asking all this stuff and you don't even have irrigation. And, he just let his lawn dry out, but
doesn't care.
Had to have it cut perfectly. And when do you mow and do you change direction? And, he was just going to be too picky. So the funny part was I wasn't really thinking about it. I said, look, I'm driving right now because I was answering his questions driving. I said, do me a favor. I don't have I can't write anything down. Do me a favor and text me your contact information. And I'm not going to remember. Just tell me. Just say kind of picky. And
That's funny.
I think I may have offended him, which was surprisingly I never heard back from the guy.
That's hilarious. Yeah, because I think you mentioned that like a while ago, but look at how you stood your ground there because you were listening, Greg. You do a great job of like listen to the clients here when they're coming out, and you can get a feeler for them. So you put a flyer there in the mailbox. It's not always a heyday with a cash grab. You got to realize that hey, it's an interview process that we go through and how we sell and market ourselves and present ourselves. And if they get too picky or they're a little bit odd or weird about something, I would probably just be like, second chance. This is really not just going to kind of fit for me. I'm glad it was a great opportunity to give you the quote, Greg, but it's just not going to fit. And just tell them that just some things came up and they get it. Because would you say? I mean, I hope I'm not weird with this, but there's some people, Greg, that are pretty like overly obsessed with their lawns. It's like this is grass.
Yeah,
They're like police you over it.
I see people all the time like that. So, which is okay. I mean, they're paying to have you. It's a luxury, and they want to take advantage of that luxury. And I understand that, but at some point in time, you can just sense if somebody's going to be a difficult to deal with, and I don't have time for that. And the way I would do it is, I wouldn't get them to commit to me. I would just say, hey, look, this is my deal. I've got to run to somebody. You think about it and get back with me. And then what I would do,
cough.
What I would do is when they call me back, say, I'm sorry, I just filled that spot. So yours, I had one last spot to fill, and somebody else reached out to me, and before I heard back from you. So
yeah, we had a guy.
Then you can walk away from it.
Yeah, it was funny. We had a guy. We mowed for him for I think 1 or 2 seasons, but this was the type of dude. I mentioned this a long time ago. It was in a neighborhood, hot neighborhood. I mean, you would want the lawn, but honestly, the side of his yard was full of tree roots, and this guy was way too picky. He was when my dad was still kind of helping us here and there, and this guy would just complain just to complain about everything. And you could tell he was just going through lawn services, so it's a perfect lawn, but just the guy was just a jerk about cutting his grass. I did, and then the only other contract I had to do for lawns, aside from a couple of the commercials back in the day, was just this one guy on the corner. Greg, back in the day, I mowed this guy's lawn for $23. It was a corner lawn. It was if you were to go and
a corner
see
lot,
that, yeah,
for
corner
23.
lot,
Wow.
Greg. You would probably walk over there and just say what? Prices were different. I mean, in this neighborhood near 9 and Halstead, I'll say where it kind of is. You had guys would mow them anywhere from $19 to $23 a cut, and this is back in 2000. Oh man, 2012, 13. I guess that's just. And so I gave him a really basic email contract, and we actually helped out one of these guys who listens. He's in the Tennessee area. Oh man, drawing a blank on his name. I'm seeing the name. He follows us on Instagram, but I had emailed him, Greg, a basic contract template. So if you do need to send them to people, and this can protect you, this can save you. We work off of a handshake base, Greg, because come on, it's cutting grass. But if someone wants to come in and try to sue you or something, it's good to have a kind of a contract there for certain people, and then you'll be able to tell. But you just lay out basic, Greg. It's no science to it. This is the mowing contract for the 2026 year. You tell them like how many cuts or where it covers, and just say that you'll be there if there's rain or something, X, Y, and Z. Then you'll be there in the next day or two. And just basic things like reiterate what you told them in person on paper. And it doesn't have to be all that worded, all that fancy. People just like to see what you talked about on paper sometimes.
Yeah, and I just haven't done it. I should, but I just haven't decided to do it. So, but like I said, that guy that was, could have been a potential 6 lawns. I just had a feeling that was going to be a difficult guy to deal with, and I don't have time for that. And he'd call me up all the time and question this and do that. And I mean, it could, the 6 lawns would have probably been an extra $300 a week.
Oh yeah.
That's, easy math, 30 cuts a year. That's an extra $9,000 a year. But I just decided that wasn't going to be worth it. So, and then the
So-
other ones,
yeah.
they had water on their couple of the lawns. 3 of the lawns had water issues, which is going to be a problem because the water just stays, it lingers, and that means I'm going to be leaving tracks. And if they start complaining about wheel marks, then I'm going to have to go back and do repairs. One of the lawns had a pool, and I would have had to hand trim because I don't push, and I couldn't get my mower back back in the gate, so I was going to have to hand trim it. So it was going to just turn into a lot of work for what I was going to make on it. I just decided that wasn't going to be worth it. So
Well, you know what? You could have told that client, Greg, is so picky. You just kind of go,
Wow, that's a great story.
some of these people. That's what I kind of want to say. Like, you get there to quote a lawn, and they want to start telling you like their life story, which is great. But time is money here, though. Too. We talked about that one client going in. This is a long time ago. Great guy. Thought he was going to be super picky. He gave me an illustration, like he drew up a diagram of his lawn measurements, and he said, "Oh, this is how I want you to cut my lawn every single week." But I picked up several lawns, Greg, strictly based off of these guys coming in, and whipping out, which is pretty. It's simple. They're like, they would say the other previous guys were too fast. And
Yeah.
I just come in there, go a smidge slower, and then also with contracts, Greg, I had to do them with my commercial accounts. Shout out to our buddy Scott Mulchin, $1 Million landscaper. Got to get him on the show. He's big on just knowing the numbers, Greg, just common sense of knowing your numbers. But was part of his family business, and they ran a really big business, like $1 million landscape business, no pun intended. And they had contracts. So I said, "Hey Scott, can you send this over to me?" And he did. Greg, let me tell you, some of the wording and the verbiage in those contracts, I had to sit there and read it over a couple times because it's like, I don't talk like that. It's like the New King James Bible almost with some of the stuff.
well, it was written up by an attorney. When you're $1 million landscape business, you got attorneys that get involved with that as well. So that would have been written up by an attorney probably, and so they're covering the lawn company. So I just it's funny the way that some people are, and I just have better things to do with my time. How's that? I had actually I did have one guy. You mentioned the guy going out with a ruler or a tape measure. I had a guy that came out with a tape measure one time and said I wasn't cutting it long enough. And he's one of the guys that wanted to cut longer and felt like I wasn't cutting it long enough. And but the interesting part about that guy is I picked him up because he didn't like his previous lawn company, and then I think he had a couple of lawn companies. I picked him up. He complained about me not cutting long enough, and so he dropped me, and because I wasn't cutting long enough. And he picked up another guy who he dropped. And
just go through them like
he
it's like
picked
a
up
circus
into-
show.
Oh yeah, there's to the point where I was mowing because I mowed the lawn right next door, and I saw these guys pull up, and I looked at them, and I'm like, this is like the third company since me. And I
You wanna ask
kinda
him.
I said to him, hey, just so you guys know, don't feel bad if you get dropped, because
Bye-bye.
I said you're like the 5th or 6th company that he's worked with. So in what 2 years, 3 years that I know of. So but I don't know if they're using. I don't know if he kept them or not again. So because I haven't seen him again since. So.
We observe a lot, Greg, don't we? I guess for the solo operator, the contracts isn't always that big of a deal, but be upfront with people, and honesty will get you farther down the line than trying to be all super official. I mean, I don't think people are going to necessarily come out and sue you. If you do just good work, handshake basis, the Lord will give you favor, and our aim and game with the clients, though, too, Greg, is just to give them some hope. So we got contracts. And then we talk about invoices here, Greg, because I was in the game in 2010 when I don't think Yardbook or Element or Jobber or EarthaPro was really a thing. And we used to send the good old-fashioned handbills, Greg. And didn't you like the snail mail? You probably have more experience with that than me, but At some of the clients still to this day, they try to lobby me for a handbill. I just said, hey, we got to keep up with the 21st century.
Yeah, I've got a couple of clients. Actually, I'm going to have to figure it out because I'm having I got to figure out my printer. It's not reading my laptop because I got a new laptop. So I think it's a driver issue or something that I got to figure out. But I've got I've got about 4 clients that are older, and they want hard copies, and they don't want an email, and I don't even know if they have email. So
They're like, email, what's that, right?
yeah, if so that's the issue with it. I think it's 4 or 5 clients that I have to print. I had one client that they said they never got the emails whenever I sent them, and you just told me that I could look it up, and actually everyone they said they never got,
they were lying.
They read, and I looked back at it and I said, well, what it says you read this, and but I just did that recently, but I'm going, they received it, they read it. So
I had a client, Greg, that let's take a word or hear a word from Project Evergreen.
Are you a military family with a spouse on deployment away from home? Did you know that nonprofit Project Evergreen has thousands of volunteers across the country ready to help military families with lawn, landscape, and snow removal services? We call it green care and snow care for troops. If you are a military family and would like to receive this free service, or if you'd like to volunteer to help, visit projectevergreen.org. Project Evergreen, creating a greener, healthier, cooler Earth, 1 yard at a time.
Talk about military, Greg. The episode already launched this morning. We had our buddy Chris Ciccone on the podcast. He's a former Marine, and he does work down in El Paso right now, Greg. And really good episode. Before the busy season, discipline, accountability, and leadership for lawn care. And so we sat
once
down
a Marine,
with Chris.
always a Marine.
Yeah,
just so you know.
Once
Not
a Marine,
he's not a
always
former Marine.
There, you're right. Semper Fidelis, right? Which means always
Semper
faithful.
Fi. Yeah.
Semper Fi means always faithful. Once a Marine, always a Marine. That was a good episode with Chris, Greg. Kind of a family tie there with church. But I think he imparted just a lot of sensible wisdom to us that we're so prone to forget, aren't we?
Yeah, he's got. Listen to that episode, guide. He's got a lot of things going on that can be inspiring for you, and just some things that he's working on too to help other guys out, military guys that trying to get out and find their way, and he's kind of helping find their way for them, helping them find their way.
He's a tough guy. He's Chris Ciccone. He'll get a kick out of that. So yeah, Invoices, Greg. Long time. I don't know, 2010 all the way up until maybe 15, 16, we sent the good old snail mail invoices, and then we finally, my dad and I decided email invoice. I think we were the first, before Yardbook, we were the first. We would just get, like, all the clients' emails, guys, do it. Get as much contact information from the client as you can. Greg, for the longest time, I don't think I think to this day, I might be missing 1 or 2 cell phone numbers from a couple of my clients because some communicate strictly just about email, but get all the information from the client as you can. I think that's just better there in the long run. It gets you more familiar with them. And then we started this to do regular email invoices. So it would just be, I think we just title it April invoice, May invoice, June. And then we just have the number of cuts, maybe even the dates back then. But people like that, just an email invoice, and no one complained, Greg. The invoice didn't even look all that fancy, but people just wanted to see something that just showed that we were there to perform a service.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've got one client that wants me to send them invoices. We did a pre-bill on their offered a pre-season invoice program, the prepay, and so I did that with the client. Now he wants me to send him proof of cuts. So I got to figure out how to do that. I mean, it's somewhat reasonable. He just wants to know how many cuts he got throughout the season, because I gave him 27 cuts.
It's like proof of cuts, date and time, soil temperature.
I had one client that wanted me to do that, put down all the dates that I cut for him. And I'm thinking, well, I pre-bill you, so, it's not going to be, if it rains on Wednesday and you're a Thursday cut, your cut's going to move to Friday, so your date's not going to be correct. So But eventually I just kind of stopped doing it, and he quit asking for it. So, but
Yeah, I had a client. They were great, Greg. I've had them for years. They're still my client. All of a sudden, this year, she wanted like proof of like dates, cut count, and I did it. I think I had actually texted you one. I was just irritated because why are you questioning me? This is cutting grass. I'm as honest as it gets here. So I fine. It's like, you want to play that game? I just put the dates I was normally there, and if it was off by a day or so, so what? I think some of these people seem to think that we're not there, even though we are. And what you did, Greg, remember that one story where that client tried to accuse you of not being there, and then you said something like, was it the garbage truck, or there's something like in the
it
way
was
of
the
their
tow
driveway?
truck.
Yeah, tell them
The
about that. That
client-
was a great story.
Client called me up, said, "You didn't mow this week." Yes, I did. And went back and forth on that for a while. She said, "Well, I got dandelions in my yard." I said, "Well, dandelions aren't my problem." This was on a Wednesday, I think she called me, Wednesday or Thursday. And she's complaining about her dandelions. I have nothing to do with the dandelions. Get yourself a fertilizer company. And she said, "Well, I did that once and it didn't work." I said, "Well, get a different fertilizer company." And I said, "You got a bad haircut once. Did you not get any more haircuts?" "No, you went to a different barber." And anyway, so she kept saying, "Oh, I didn't cut her lawn." And I said, "Look, I forget, I can't even remember, Anna. I said, "Anna, look, you're my first cut of the week. I can't cut any more lawns until I cut yours. And you're number one in my life." And she says, "Well, you didn't cut it." And she said, "Well, what time were you here?" She asks that. And I said, I don't remember what time I was there. And then I thought, wait a minute. What time was the tow truck in your driveway? And
That's funny, isn't it?
and she didn't say a thing. And realizing that I wouldn't have known that the tow truck was there if I hadn't cut her lawn. So,
But it's really that important, and this is a great transition, Greg, to cut count. But to touch back more on invoices, though, too. Okay, so we had the fiscal invoice, the email invoice, and I discovered Yardbook, and I've used that since. There's other good ones out there. We have Jobber, LMN, a lot of guys who are even switching on over to EarthaPro because it's more of a solo operator. But Greg, for the time being, you and I really like Yardbook because it's free. And has there any you ever in Yardbook, Greg, had a complaint over something? I haven't. I think for a solo operator, because if you're listening to us, we're more so tailored for the solo show, smaller company. It does everything I want, Greg. There's no reason for me to pay for anything when Yardbook can make everything look nice, and it does whatever we want. It's perfect, at least for us.
yeah, for me, Yardbook works great. I don't need to pay for the extra services that, I think you can get a free version and your paid version, but the free version does what I want. And so there's really no reason for me to do the other stuff. So it's real simple to work with. I've been happy with it. You told me about it when I first started, and and clients can give reviews on you if you want. I don't know who sees them, but occasionally I'll see that a client gave me a review, and that's funny because I had
through
this one
Yardbook,
client
yeah.
that they gave me one client. They gave me a 10.
You're a 10.
0
Greg.
out of 10, 0 to 10. I got a 10 from the client. Good for me, right? A week later, the same client gives me a 9. And I'm going, what? Why would somebody give me a 10 and a week later give me a 9? So it was just, I think it was the husband versus the wife.
Oh,
And
man.
I think it
Someone
just
liked you more
depends.
than the other
Yeah.
one did.
Yeah, because that's the same client that I found that they had the driveway that was washing away, and they didn't know about it. But for some reason, they give me a 9. I think because they're a Thursday cut, and when we get rain, they get pushed to Friday. They want me to call them and tell them that I'm not going to be there on Thursday, and I don't have time to call
They
people
even
and
rate down
say-
like the Yardbook system. I think I had one person do that to me once.
Yeah. I don't know how. That's when they get the invoice, they can rate you. So
Do a better job with the invoices, Greg. But the clients, when we finally made the switch, Greg, to Yardbook, I think all of them were very pleased because the invoice, just to advocate for it, when we're not paid by them, nothing like that, it can make, you put your picture up there, Greg, it structures the invoice really nicely for you, and it's professional. It's not over the top. It's professional. I'm sure I've seen Jobber just the app and the whole online system looks better. LMN's out of this world. You don't need that, guys. Some of these you don't need to hop onto them just because your creators are doing it. I mean, you can pay. What do you think is a reasonable amount to pay per month, Greg? If you wanted to pay for one of these, like $30 a month. I don't know.
I didn't even know what they charge for them.
I think
so.
I mean, Yardbook has paid tiers. Jobber does too.
Yeah, I've never looked into it. I don't even. Do you know how much they charge?
I know Yardbook has some paid tiers, and then Jobber was all over the map. I think one of the base prices might be around $39 a month. I hadn't looked it up. Jobber, I know for a fact, at least the UI on there and the app looks very sweet, sleek, and nice. But I'll just boil it down to, if I can get something for free that looks as good as that, and no one ever complains that the invoice looks shoddy or terrible, stick with Yardbook for the time being. But then we also have EarthaPro. You can check them out too. People shop it around and figure out what fits here in your budget. And obviously, you can have it for a tax write-off, Greg, because if you're paying for it and it's for your business, then you can write that off. But professionalism shines through. If you want to go old school with the invoices, do it. But we want to have that turnover of getting our money back. So once we get that invoice sent out, you want that due or that net buy or that money back instantly. You don't want to have to be chasing money, Greg, do you? And Yardbook makes it quick.
Yeah. Here I just looked up rates for Yardbook, $34.99 a month, and then you could do the other one that offers $49.99 a month. So, what do you say? EarthaPro?
You got EarthaPro, and you got Jobber. So if you go and you look at Jobber, it's a green industry standard, and a lot of guys like them. I think they have one of the most sleekest types of websites going. Okay, so here you go. Okay, one user core. It was starting at $29 a month, but for 12 months billed annually is $19 a month. That's pretty cool. Then you have their Connect, automations, and must-have integrations to reduce admin work and impress customers. $65 a month. That just seems kind of steep. That could
Whose
just
are
be
you
me.
on? I
Jobber.
didn't hear. Jobber.
Jobber.
Okay.
And then their Grow is $97 a month. Advanced tools to win bigger jobs, scale your operations, and take back your admin time. But their core here: book and schedule jobs online, send pro quotes, send invoices, and receive online payments. Create a professional website. Okay, so you can create a website with Jobber. Reporting and access to app marketplace. Okay, that seems relatively reasonable there, from $29 a month to $19 a month. So, and they have a nice app, and then you have also LMN, which they've been pushed by a couple creators here recently. Landscape Business, I don't think you can really get that much price. Okay, well, okay, you can. LMN starter, $297 a month. All right, well, includes one office crew lead license and 5 crew member licenses. For growing companies with 1 to 3 employees that need basic features to increase profitability. Don't need that, but I hear that LMN, Greg, is really nice. That's
Okay.
interesting.
I'm looking at EarthaPro here. It looks like starts at $9.99 a month for one user and up to 30 customers. They offer a pro plan for $39.99 a month for 2 users with full features. Additional users are $10 a month. There's something else on here I saw for $69.90. Oh, let me try this one. Wait a minute. They have a solo $24.99, $69.99 a month for pros.
$25 a month solo, then $70 a month for pros. That seems like it's pretty fair. Make your business run smoother with easy-to-use features that give back your time. So the solo package: invoicing, recurring job scheduling, templates, mobile app, credit card processing, 4% fee plus 30 cents cut, only up to 30 customers. Interesting.
Yeah, that doesn't.
Wait, what? That sounds interesting, doesn't it?
Yeah, because we have more than 30 clients, so that means you're going to the $70 one.
I wonder why they did that, but they have a nice website. Peter, the founder, he had set this up, Greg, where you can text invoices. Like, he somehow got around that system. Because remember with yard book, Greg, you could text invoices, like mass text people. Then they changed some sort of texting law where you can't do that. But Peter found a way to legally get around that the right way, and I think they have an app. It's pretty sleek, but you guys just have to pick and choose of what you want to use to send out an invoice. But at the end of the day, the question is, did you get the money back? Did you did you get paid?
Yeah. Yeah. So I didn't even know Yardbook there was an issue with texting. So I never looked at that. So I guess with EarthaPro too, you can prepay for the season, and that'll save $120 a year. It looks like if you prepay. So so you'll save $10 a month on the different plans.
Andy Wilson says, with the Lawn Hustle podcast and professional lawn maintenance, he was out there mowing, Greg. The program for up to 30 customers is for those who are just starting. Okay, that kind of made more sense. So they would automatically shove us there at the $70 a month, which it is what it is. I think there's enough features in it where guys can check that out. So. Also, Greg, let's talk about some cut counts here, too. Back in the day, when I was mowing like a lot, and I think guys should still do this to this day, loosely be able to track your cut counts. Or if you're there on the same day, Greg, you should be able to know how many cuts into the future months of what you're going to mow. Like, you should be able to know, sorry, I can't talk. You should be able to know your future cuts. But what I used to do was one of my friends or neighbors who used to live across the street, they came up with a spreadsheet for me, Greg. And I would put all my clients in there and keep track of the cut counts per month, and they had it by the dates and everything. There's a couple different ways, but what I also do is just write things down. Like the first couple months there of the season when it's really busy, I'll kind of keep track of the cuts that way, because when you have rain and everything coming in, it's all over the map. But keep track of your cuts just so it helps you stay organized and less anxious, and then not just have your head spinning.
One of the things I do is I pre-bill. So I just go through, count the number of days, and if I'm cutting on Monday for that client, I count the number of Mondays in the month, and then we'll just send him an invoice for 5 cuts or 4 cuts, and if I don't get there on Monday, I'll get there on Tuesday if we got rain or something. So that's one. Although I did have one client that because of the rain, he was like a Wednesday or Thursday. He was a Wednesday cut. And he said, well, it's the end of the month, so you didn't cut this one on Wednesday, and today's a new month, so I'm only going to pay you for 4 cuts. I said, no, it's still 5 cuts for the week.
Yeah.
I'm going to be here. Yeah, he kind of thought that was reasonable, but I said, well, I'm still going to be cutting today, and you're just going to have 6 cuts next month, so let's make this easy. Don't make it difficult. But pre-billing I found is yeah. Pre-billing I found is really beneficial for me because what happens is, and sorry, I sidetracked a little bit here on you. But I pre.
Oh, he had a bump. I think Greg had a blip there in the system. Did something may have got unplugged? I don't know if the Zoom PodTrack P4, because now it says that he's muted here. Hold on, let me see if I can get him back. This is always fun. Cannot unmute your guests because they chose to mute themselves. So you might need to unmute through, hey Greg, unmute through StreamYard. But he was talking about how he pre-bills, guys. Unmute through StreamYard. I think there is I don't know if he can even hear me. Oh, this is good. Okay. Yeah, so he pre-bills, and I wanted to ask him, though, if he ever had any problems with people when he would pre-bill. Hey, I think he's back. Hey, Greg, how you doing? I think he might be back. Wanted to know if he would ever have any problems with people. Oh, hey, you're in a pre-bill. If they would question if you would show up or not. Because if you pre-bill like that, just make sure that you guys are getting there. Because clients, they love to see the consistency of us lawn care pros. They really want us to be consistent here. Hey, Evan and Greg showed up, which at 9 p.m. every day there on a Tuesday. And that's really important, is the familiarness to it. And that's where you also build trust. Greg, you there? Yes, I hear him breathing. I think he's breathing like Darth Vader. I'm really not sure what he hit or what happened to him. Oh man, this is never a dull moment here, guys. On the he had left the building. Oh man. Uh-oh.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that.
Well, hopefully he comes back. He might even try to call into the show. Uncle Greg has entered the studio. Hey, how you doing?
No idea what happened.
I think you might have hit a key or something that just kind of locked the system up. But anyways, pre-bill. What I was kind of getting at, Greg, was you ever had any clients kind of push back and say, "Oh, you're going to pre-bill me? Well, you better show up."
I've had people hesitate, and well, actually, I had one client. It was funny because I sent her a bill, and she says she was kind of looking at the bill, and she said, "Why'd you send this to me already?" And I said, "Well, I pre-bill everybody." And she says, "Well, I don't feel comfortable with that. I'd rather you pay me. I've been pre-billing you for 2 years, and I pre-bill all of my accounts."
Do they not pay attention?
I don't know. They just decided that they just didn't understand. She was older and older client, and I said, "Look, I've been pre-billing you for 2 years, and I said I pre-bill everyone. It's not like I'm doing it just for you. I pre-bill all of my clients." I said, "You have until the end of the month to pay. I don't care as long as you pay me by the end of the month." And the way it worked for me, I'd get about 30% of the clients, or it's about 30 is, or 33%. 33% of the clients, as soon as they get the bill, they'd pay it. 33% would trickle in throughout the month, and then 33% pay me end of the month. So it was just, I don't know why, but that's just kind of the way it worked.
Those are some good math stats, Greg, aren't they? Well,
Yeah.
That's good to know, and we should track that. 856-446-8873. Cousin Kenny chimed in and said, howdy. Then we had Andy talking about how Eartha Pro, that program is up for 30, up to 30 customers is for those who are just getting started. How do you bill? I thought Andy before, Greg, he had used this website called Invoice and Go. If Andy could chime back into that or call the show, but they still they have that month to pay even when you pre-bill them.
Yeah, it's just how you want to do it. And I think you bill at the end of the month, correct? You don't pre-bill?
Yeah, I bill at the end of the month. We've kicked around this idea rather than billing at the end of the month. Okay, still bill at the end of the month, and it's traditionally for 4 or 5 cuts. What about it if you invoice for 3 cuts? So every 3 cuts, because that could kind of track it out better. Cousin Kenny, he's chiming in.
Hey guys, it's Cousin Kenny.
He has a nice guy who cuts his lawn. He's in the lawn and landscape industry. Kenny pays via Venmo, so that's how he pays, and he pays weekly. But you ever thought about, Greg? Think about it. For a better cash flow, to run more lean, maybe for the solo guys, text or call or chime in. We have good text engagement. You ever thought about billing every 3 weeks?
No.
Interesting idea.
No, because
Might be
that's
easy
work.
to keep track.
That's more difficult to work. It's easy to count for me, it's easy to count the days of the month that I'm going to be there, and done. It's just 1 month bill. If I wait a minute, did I do 3 weeks? Which week was that I cut off at? And so it's just easier for me to, it's like cutting every other week. If you got a client that you cut every other week, did I cut that last week? I don't remember. And then, so you got to decide whether or not, you have to do it. But I had one client that wanted me to cut her every 10 days. It's not. It's too much like work.
Every 12 and a half days, Greg, I want you to be there. Yeah, that's one client said, "Hey, can you cut every 15 days?" And I said, "No, you're asking for twice a month." Invoice to go. I include before I leave a property, and balance is due same day. That is key, isn't that? That's nice. Yeah.
Yeah, some guys do that. That works for them. Like I said, I'm all about as little paperwork as possible. I hate paperwork with a passion, and that's why it's once a month. I send out the invoice at the beginning of the month, just count the days, and I don't have to worry about, if somebody doesn't pay me, I've only had 2 people not pay me, and it was only in both cases, it was 2 weeks, and they were disputing when I cut, and I just said, no, if you're going to be like that, we're done. And so it cost me $80. So one of them was $80, the other one was $60. So I just didn't. Andy's Greg is the man. But for me, it's just ease. I just don't want to have to deal with having to do paperwork. It's just not fun.
If they're debating you, I think I'm going to start using this line with a couple clients again.
Wow, that's a great story.
You'll quickly fire yourself though, Greg, too, from that, which is kind of fine. Some people you just don't want to deal with the headache and the hassle with them. Also, an interesting idea, Greg. Rather than keeping track of the cut counts, just if you've been doing this long enough, say I've been mowing for some guys for 16 years. Get your average of amount of cuts per year, and then just kind of say it's, I don't know, 25 to 27 cuts. You could always just try to aim to bill someone 25 times if you don't keep track. I was just thinking of different ways, Greg, to possibly do it. Like, what about instead of billing per cut, you could do something where you factor it in per month, where most clients can pay anywhere from, what is it? Oh, the invoice $172 to, I don't know, $200 a month. Kind of get that median. You ever thought about that? Maybe just have them pay monthly, where it's still equaling 27 to, I don't know, 29 cuts or whatever it is. I always think about different ideas, and that way you're not keeping track of cut count per se, because most people don't really care as long as they somewhat pay the same amount between year and year, but they will pay more with the rate increases. What do you think?
Some guys do that. They just want a steady income monthly, and they don't want to have that January or December, January, February time period, or potentially March, where they don't have anything coming in. Some guys like to do that. I'm okay with getting all my money and then I just kind of use it throughout the rest of the season. And but some guys like to do it that way, and it works for them. That helps. So, but I just like to do it the way I do it, and then I don't have any questions, because think about it. Most of our clients are older. Probably 50% of our clients are over 60 years old. And
What are you calling yourself old?
But for the 80-year-old, that starts to get complicated. Well, why am I paying you for December? I had one lady that I sent her the invoice, and in May there were 4 cuts, and in June there were 5 cuts. And she says, how come this bill is higher than the other one? Well, because there were 4 Mondays in May, and there were 5 Mondays in June.
In June.
And I had to explain that to her every year.
But Greg was nice about it when you were explaining it to her, not getting huffy and puffy and angry. Some of these clients, Greg, they will ask you the same thing every year. You just have to sit them down and to tell them that. I do have had some clients get mad when it's, I thought I was paying 4, and then now it's 5, and then you tell them there was 5 weeks in this month, and they immediately back right off.
Yeah.
Because what we're also talking about, Greg, as I think Andy talked about this in his podcast, was, I don't know, if you get dry there during the winter, there's about a month or two for me where we just got to watch the finances when we're not getting snow. What if I put everyone on a 12-month plan? Do you do a 12-month plan at a 2 to 5% discount, something like that? But then also price increase every year. You ever thought we talked about this recently? You ever thought about pre-billing? It's pre-billing, or having people pay throughout the whole 12-month billing. There, that's what I meant.
Yeah,
12-month billing.
I've thought about it. I just didn't. Again, I'd have to be explaining. So when I didn't get paid in January, they said, "Well, you haven't cut anything yet." Well, but remember, I'm switching over here, and we're doing something a little bit different. And the other thing is which clients, because some clients don't want to do that, some clients will, and I just didn't want to deal with it. So I just do it the one way, because it's going to be hard to track if one client is on the 12-month plan, the other one's on the 8-month plan, just paying every month when I'm cutting. And it's just, I don't know how well that works. Some guys do it that way, but that's the way they originally set everything up, or they switched everyone over to that. So I'm too nice of a guy, and I'd probably say, well, okay, so we'll let you stay on 8 months, and we'll let you stay on 12, and or we'll have you switch to 12 months. So I just figured, pick up a side hustle in the winter, and then it'll cover me for those months where I'm not getting lawn cuts.
That's well said, Greg. We have about 90 seconds here before Keeping Up with the Joneses comes on. Yesterday, Greg, I took out my son with my friend Derek and his son Landon. Derek runs Metro Lawn Care. We went down to Ford Field to the Monster Truck Jam. And we paid extra for the pit party where you can go on the field and see the trucks and everything. JD loved it. We didn't stay the entire time. It wasn't that loud. He had hearing protection, but he kind of ripped them off about an hour into the show because we got there way too early. He got so tired, Greg. He actually fell asleep during the best part was like the freestyle part. He fell asleep, so we we left and went home. But it was a great experience, and this is why, with our businesses, guys, it's really good to have time for your family, though, to obviously make money. But we want time for our family because it's so short-lived, Greg. It really is. I mean, we're about a breath. We appear one day, and then the next we're gone. And then how do you want to leave a legacy for your family? And with this business, we've been afforded great opportunities to be able to get away and do stuff like this, especially during the off seasons. But it was really fun to get down there, Greg. Andy says, when I have a customer that pays annually for the mowing service, I charge them for 28 mows. If we have a dry season or a lot of rain and I miss a couple of those, then I'll apply those from missed mows to their fall cleanup. Greg, that's pretty worded. Yeah, wow.
Yeah.
What do you got, Greg?
Good
We
suggestion.
got 10 seconds.
Yeah. I like what Andy said there. Nice job, Andy. Good ideas.
Okay, well, Mike dropped that. We got 5 seconds, guys. Keeping Up with the Joneses is next. We will see you on tomorrow's show.